You can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So next we will learn today about nervous tissue. So nervous tissue is the most complex tissue in the human body. Okay, it helps in sending different kinds of information to brain and bringing its responses back from brain to the effector organ. Means it receives every information, like for example, if any external stimuli is hurting you or any type of external stimuli is generated, like a mosquito bite. A mosquito is biting in your skin, so the sensors or sensory neurons of your skin, the sensory receptors of your skin will receive the information that a mosquito is means it will not receive as a mosquito, it will receive that something painful is happening, right? So that sensory nerve will conduct the information to our central nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. Okay, so that sensory nerve will receive the information and it will convey the information to sensory nervous system. Then uh, there in sensory nervous system processing will be done, that what should be the reaction. Then the reaction will be done by motor neuron. Means that action will be taken by motor neuron. Means at first a mosquito is biting on your skin, the skin receptors is receiving the information, sensory neurons are conveying that information to brain, then brain is sending motor information through motor nerve that please fly away this mosquito, or anything you want to do, please fly away, please kill it, anything. The central nervous system or brain or spinal cord is sending the motor neuron, and you will take action regarding that. So this is the function, one of the function of brain tissue. So it helps in sending different kind of information to brain and bringing it responses back from brain to effector organ. Okay, this is a very small example of this slide. Now it contains two distinct cells, neuron or nerve cells and neuroglia or glial cells. Okay, so nervous tissue is made up of two different kind of cells. First is neurons or nerve cells and neuroglia or glial cells. So means we have already discussed about cells, right? You all are familiar with the term cell and the concept of cell. Now here neurons are also a type of cell, but it is different in its structure and function. This is a special kind of cell in body. So we will learn about this also. So what are the functions of nerve tissue? Regulates and controls body functions, generates and transmit nerve impulses. Obviously means The neurons will regulate and control the body functions because it is taking the sensory information and sending motor information. Means, for example, um, body functions like if we are feeling hot, or if we are feeling cold, or if we are feeling hungry, then all these body functions are received by sensory receptor inside our body, and those sensory receptor or sensory neurons are sending the information to the brain, and brain is reacting or responding to those. Then we take a sol for cold, we switch on the fan for heat, or we eat something, we consume food if we are hungry. So there's body functions, and also many more functions in the human body are happening. We don't know even the cent percent of body. It's very, very mysterious. I have already told Yat Pinde Tat Brahmandi. Means whatever in the universe, it is inside our body. So it's impossible to know the body completely, but we can try. So generates and transmit nerve impulses. Yes, neurons generate nerve impulses and transmit nerve impulses, and supports and protects impulse generating neurons. Obviously, when we are talking about neuroglia or glial cells, the main function of these glial cells is supporting neurons. So they are supporting and protecting impulses generating neurons. Impulse generating neurons. Now, let us see in details about neuron or nerve cell. So, here comes a very important question, that what is the unit of nervous system? Can you please answer?
Neurons.
Yes. So, neurons are a single cell only. So, a cell is the unit. So, neurons are the unit of nervous system, smallest unit. So, structural and functional unit of nervous system is neuron. Conducting cells or excitable cells. Means neurons are conducting cells and excitable cells. Primary type of cell, communication between brain and body. Yes, it's easy. Neurons communicate between brain and body because brain is the central nervous system and body is the peripheral nervous system. Now, neurons are having two parts, that are cell body or cyton or soma, and uh, the axon part. Okay, here you can see axon part. So in this picture, you can see clearly that this is the cell body, the yellow colored cell body, and it is branched like a tree. So these branches are known as dendrites, and this purple color rounded shape is the nucleus. So nucleus is present here, and here the long tail is known as axon, and you can see these coverings, small coverings in the middle of axon. These are known as myelin sheath. Here you can see it is written here, myelin sheath. And the gap between myelin sheath is node of Ranvier. We will know all this. And here it is known, this portion is known as axon terminal, where axon is ending, and just after these axon terminals there is a synaptic gap. Means if you see here a clear, if you see the picture with with your attention, let me zoom this picture one bit more. Can you see the picture clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So so if you see with your attention, then you can see that before this neuron is ending here. Can you see the previous neuron?
Yes, ma'am. Another year.
Yes. So thus neurons are attached with one another. So the means axon terminal of the previous neuron is attached with the current neuron which we are seeing. So the previous neuron is attached with current neuron, as the axon terminals of previous neuron is attached with the dendrites of current neuron. So where they are meeting, they are not touching one another completely. Means the previous neuron, means the axon terminals of previous neuron will not touch the dendrites of current neuron. There will be a synaptic gap. So how then the communication will occur? It will occur as let me see if that picture is here or not. Yes, here. In this round, you can see. This is, you can see my cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is the previous neuron. This is the axon terminal of previous neuron. And here, the red color is the current neuron. So the previous neuron is releasing the information in the gap. You can see here a gap is present. This uh, axon terminal is not touching directly to this neuron. You can see a small gap. So here in this small gap, when the previous neuron is releasing the information, then a chemical through chemical messengers, this information are received to this current neuron. You can see here blue colored receptors are present in this current neuron. So these receptors receive the chemical form of information and they convey the information to the cell body, right? So this is the dendrite of current neuron. This is the axon terminal of previous neuron, and this is the dendrite of current neuron. So dendrites are receiving the information as the information has relieved by or released by the previous neuron in the synaptic gap. This gap is known as synaptic gap, or this is known as synapse. Here it is written, labeled. This gap is known as synapse and or synaptic gap. So you can see synaptic vesicles. These small vesicles are known as synaptic vesicles. And this curve is known as synaptic cleft. You don't need to remember all this in detail. Just understand the concept that these things happens in nervous system. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this picture, in detail, you can see what happens to neurons and how are neurons. Here you can see the cell body. It is just like another cells, it having nucleus, and inside that nucleus you can see this nucleolus, green color, yellow colored nucleus, and green colored nucleolus, and endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, all the things are present, lysosome, all the things are present in cell body. And the extension of cell body, that is neuron, and then, axon, and then axon terminal. Here you can see that how myelin sheath is covering the axon. Now, why this myelin sheath? Means what is the function of myelin sheath? This is also very, very important question. Myelin sheath are made up of Schwann cells. Here you can see it is written Schwann cells. So myelin sheath are made up of Schwann cells. And why they are important? Because they increase the conductivity of neuron. Means information received by dendrites, it is processed in cell body, and it is conducting through the axon, but it is a longer path, so the information conduction may take a longer time. That is
Ma'am,
why myelin sheath are covered throughout the axon, so that the conducting process become faster. The information go through the axon faster.
ma'am,
Is
can
it
you
clear?
repeat this myelin sheath again?
Please you repeat.
Ma'am, can you repeat this myelin sheath again?
The concept of myelin sheath.
Yes, ma'am.
So, myelin sheath are white colored materials. Those are made up of Schwann cells. It is shown here as blue color. It is not like blue. Myelin sheath is white in color. Okay. So axons, that is why bundle of axons are appear white as color. So myelin sheath covers the axon. You can see here it is depicted as blue colored. So why they are covering the axon? So dendrites are receiving information. It is processed in cell body. Then the information is conveyed through axon to axon terminals. But axon is very long and it is a longer pathway. So the conduction of information may take a longer time. That is why myelin sheath are covered, so that the conduction of information become faster. So the main function of myelin sheath is to make the conduction of information or conduction of electromagnetic charges, right? Means information goes through neuron electrical form. So the conduction becomes faster because of myelin sheath. And I think you know that electrical changes occurs, means information is received and mm, conducted in neuron through electrical impulses. Our whole nervous system is going as per electrical impulses. And for here in the synaptic gap, it changes to chemical impulses. Means for this gap only, it is chemical, and inside neuron it is electrical. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here, yes. Now we will understand about cell body or cytone or soma. Soma equal to body, large irregular septs. Means soma means body, large irregular sept. So I think you got the picture of neuron and you understood that there is no particular shape of cell body of neuron. The cell body is central region which is most important part of neuron containing the nucleus of cell. Okay, so cell body is the most important part of neuron because it is containing this nucleus, and all processing is happening here. And many extension of cell membrane which are generally referred as to as processes. Cell membrane, many extensions of cell membrane which is generally referred to as process. I don't know what I have written here. Sorry. Leave that point. Yes. We are here for axon. So you can see here another neuron, dendrites, cell body, nucleus, axon. And axon is covered by myelin sheath. And in between, the gap in between each myelin sheath is known as node of Ranvier. Then axon terminals, synaptic knob. So axon is cable-like projection. You can see here it is a long cable-like projection. Axon is extension of cell body. Yes, it is extension of cell body. Each nerve cell has only one axon. Yes, one cell body, one axon. Many of dendrites and many of axon terminals. Longer than dendrites. Yes, dendrites are shorter and they are branched. But axon is a bit different, you can understand. Transmits nerve impulses away. Yes, impulse have been processed in cell body and then it is transmitting the nerve impulse for the for further action. The point where axon arises from the cell body is termed as axon hillock. Okay, so here comes an important terminology. Where the axon is originating from cell body, that portion is known as axon hillock. Okay, let me mark that portion. So from where axon is getting started in cell body, this portion is known as axon hillock. Now, synaptic buttons are specialized structures where neurotransmitter chemicals are released to communicate with target neurons. Okay, so we have already discussed what is synapse. Now, what is telling here? Synaptic buttons are specialized structures where Neurotransmitter chemicals are released to communicate with target neurons. Yes, the same thing we have already discussed, that neurotransmitter chemicals are released by previous neurons and it is received by current neuron, next neuron. The axilloma is the cell membrane surrounding an axon. Okay, so here is also a membrane present which is covering the axon, that is known as axilloma. Uh, you can see the axilloma in detail here. Here, the axon is present and a layer covering axon is axilloma. It is like here. Sorry, it will be the here, means the covering of axon, and then myelin sheath is covering the neuron axon. Okay, so the membrane covering axon is known as axilloma. Next, axons surrounded by myelin sheath. This consists of a series of Schwann cells arranged along the length of axon. We've already discussed about myelin sheath. They are made up of Schwann cells and they are covering due to making the process faster, making the conduction process faster. The outermost layer of Schwann cell plasma membrane is neurolemma. Okay, the outermost layer of Schwann cell plasma membrane is neurolemma. They are tiny areas of exposed exolemma between adjacent Schwann cells called node of Ranvier, which assist the rapid transmission. Okay, so we have already discussed about node of Ranvier. It is present in between two myelin sheath. The gap in between two myelin sheath. This even make the transmission rapid, means faster. Now we will learn about dendrites. Dendrites are extensions of cell bodies. Yes, it is branched. It is extension of cell body. Tree-like structure, highly branched processes transmit nerve impulse toward the cell body and axon, receive information from other neurons. Very easy, we have already discussed. Now this is the picture we have already seen. Now come to neuroglia or glial cells. So these are non-conducting cells or non-excitable cells. So here come the difference between neuron and neuroglia cells. Okay. So what is the main thing? They are, means glial cells are non-conducting or non-excitable, means they are not receiving any kind of chemical or electrical impulse, or they are not processing any kind of chemical electrical impulse. They are glue like helper cells, surround the neurons, more glial than neurons. Okay, so they are just surrounding the neurons, they are just supporting the neurons, they are helping, they are very very helpful in nature. They will not excite, they will not conduct any impulse, they will not process anything. So what are the functions? Provide support, protect nutrition to neuron, acting as macrophages, detoxification, regulating the flow of blood, produce myelin sheath. Okay, so these are the important functions of glial cells. Okay, Mainly what
Ma'am,
they are doing. Yes,
what is the location of this neurogilla?
they are found in between neurons. In the nervous system only, they are found in between neurons. They are supporting neurons. You can
That
find.
means it is not related to this nerve cell, like neuron cell.
Yes, please repeat.
That means it is not related to this tree-like structure cell is there in a neuron. That's it. Is it
No, no,
related
no.
to that?
It's
Or it will be separate.
yes, it is separate. We have already discussed earlier that two type of cells we can found in nervous tissue. That is, first is neuron and second is glial cells. So here is the second type of nervous tissue. It's not
Ma'am, can
neuron.
you please explain its non-conductive cell and non-excitable cell, this term?
Yes. Non-conducting means in case of neurons, we have seen that they are receiving information, they are processing information, they are conducting that information. And just for example, we have taken right, like if a mosquito is biting in your skin, the receptors, sensory receptors of your skin will process it, and it will be conducted, the information will be conducted through sensory neuron, and the information will reach to brain that something painful is happening there. Then brain will process and it will respond to respond by motor neuron, and all these things are happening by electrical impulses. But this sensory motor reception or action reaction, all these things are not happening in glial cells. Are you getting me? Means uh, the messenger information message, everything is happening in neurons. Glial cell is out of it. Glial cells are just supporting neurons. They are protecting, they are providing nutrition to neurons, means they are just helping neurons to work properly. What they are doing, what the glial cells are doing, they are providing support to neuron, protecting neurons, providing nutrition to neurons, act as macrophages, they work as detoxification. Right, you know these terminologies, right? Detoxification.
Yes, ma'am.
And they are regulating flow of blood, produce myelin sheath, where we can see myelin sheath.
Arjan
In the exam layer, outer layer.
covering
Yes,
that insect.
yes, in axon. And what they are made up of, what myelin sheath is made up of?
Schwann cells.
Very good, swan cells. And what is the function of myelin sheath? Mainly,
Conducting information. Conduction of information.
Making faster.
yes, faster, making the conduction faster. If there is no myelin sheath in the axon, then also the conduction occur. No problem. But myelin sheath is making faster. The process is made faster by myelin sheath. If you heard about action potential, uh, in that action potential, electrical, how I can make it simpler. Electrical impulses are leave the action potential. Mainly means conduction or any information is coming to neuron as electrical impulse, means by positive and negative charges. So the neurons are receiving electrical impulse and they are processing electrical impulse. So they are excitable. They get excited when they are getting electrical impulse. And they are conducting electrical impulse. But glial cells do not receive any kind of electrical impulse. They are just like other normal cells of body, but they are different in just structure. Okay, you got the difference between neuron and glial cells.
Yes, ma'am.
See here. Here we have already learned that we have two distinct cells in nervous tissue. First is neuron or nerve cells. Second is neuroglia or glial cells. So neurons receive information, process information, conduct the information to further actions. Glial cells do not have any relation with electrical information which are received by neurons. So, glial cells are just supporting neurons. They are providing nutrition, they are providing support, they are detoxifying, they are circulating blood properly. It's like homemaker of nervous tissue. Like if in our home any person is working very hard, then the another person in home is just taking care of that person, and that is also very important. Without taking care, the person which is working very hard outside home, it will be impossible for that person to work hard outside home. So the glial cells are just a homemaker. Right? Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So any question, any doubt, any confusion, you can ask. No problem? Okay. So it's 8. I think we should conclude the class.